on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Green Zone, the most elevated sports podcast. If you guys like what we got going on here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Be a friend, tell a friend, share it with someone, pass it along to them, and drop something in the comment. Give us some ideas of what you guys want us to talk about in the future, or if you guys liked what we're talking about here, let us know down there. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, let's get into the episode. Welcome back to another episode of The Green Zone. I am your host, Cody, here with your NFL Week 4 Weedcap. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to talk about some football. We're going to get into the what you smoking on segment, who's lit, who greened out. Fair warning, some of your teams may be on that greened out section, but the greened out teams this week, honestly, we're just a week-wise green out for the long term. We have some permanent green outs, and then we have some fucking week 4 green outs. So there's going to be those teams that are going to bounce back. We'll talk about them in the sparked up segment on the predictions, which, as a matter of fact, we need to be better about. Haven't gotten a predictions episode out yet, except for week 2. So we'll do better about that. We'll be better, but we're getting into it. Starting off, let's get into the what you smoking on segment. Overall, great week for football. Bama, Georgia, great game. We saw some great college games all throughout the weekend. Great NFL games, especially in the morning. Afternoon was a little shaky, but we had good games. They just weren't that much of an entertainment factor. But one of the blowout and most interesting games that we have to talk about is the Commanders. Holy shit. And you'd be like, with the what you smoking on segment, who are you specifically focused on? Probably Jayden Daniels. Not on this one, man. Honestly, Commanders as a team. I said it in their episode. They literally had a whole one-season rebuild, and it's showing. Defense playing on point. Offense balling out. Jayden Daniels fucking doing his damn thing. I don't even think they had Austin Eckler this past game. He was hurt, and they still found a way to just dominate the fucking who did they play? The Cardinals. Eagles. Eagles also got dominated by the Bucs, but we'll get into that. Kyler Murray was supposed to be a good quarterback this year. He's supposed to have this reemergence. He has a fucking true solid number 1 in Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's just kind of been like pitiful. But then you got the Commanders drafting a rookie quarterback. He was the Heisman Trophy winner last year, got hurt, still found a way to fucking make it happen. Everyone was kind of touting him to be that number 2. Caleb's the eye. Jayden Daniels is the clear number 2. And shit, for the second year in a row, it's starting to look like the number 2 is the guy to go with. You look last year, Bryce Young, number 1 overall draft pick. And CJ Stroud comes right behind him and just chugga, choo-choo, right through that bitch ass stage. Now look at it. Bryce Young sitting on the bench, and fucking CJ Stroud's out here balling with the Texans. Texans put a team around him. Big difference, but shit. What a fucking time to be alive for CJ Stroud. This year, you got Caleb Williams, who has been talked about as a number 1 drafted quarterback, including last year. So if Caleb would have went out last year, if he could have, he couldn't have. But if he would have, he probably would have been number 1 over Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. But he didn't. Went 1 this year. This guy, Jayden Daniels, winning the Heisman, as we talked about, comes out swanging, man. What the fuck? Jayden Daniels might be that guy. It's year 1. It's early. There's a lot of time and a lot more things that he needs to do. He needs to run through adversity. He needs to have some troubles. We need to see how he's going to fight back. But at the Commanders as a team, I'm smoking on that pack, man. I called it earlier before the season. I said Commanders are going to win that division. Cowboys got a bunch of drama. Look at them. My God, barely beat the Giants. Fucking Eagles got a lot of drama. Got blown out by the Bucs, man. And then you got the Giants, obviously, Daniel Jones isn't the guy. Brian Dable's kind of fucked. Their only one true weapon is Malik Neighbors. Otherwise, they're kind of just like, maybe this guy will do something for us, but shit. But then you got the Washington Commanders, the Commies. Used to be called the Redskins. And they said, we're here to stay. We're here to play. And there ain't nobody stopping us. God damn, bruh. Jayden Daniels is looking like a fucking stud. Stats-wise, it was absolutely insane. He had like an 82% completion rating or something like that, 86%. He went for 26 for 30. 26 for 30, 233, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They won 42-14 against the Cardinals. running all up and down the field. That's just the passing yards. Run yards, even better. Jayden Daniels, dude, shit. See the guy? Huge road win, huge team win. That Commanders team is dangerous. Both sides of the ball. Dangerous. That defensive line. We talked about it when they fucking traded away Montez Sweat and Chase Young, and we're kind of like, it's a little shaky. Why would you do that? They still got Deron Payne. They still got Jonathan Allen, and those boys are fucking dominating. Commanders, honestly, could be that dark horse to make it into the Super Bowl, let alone division win. Are you kidding me? Playoffs is a different time, so let's not get overhyped. It's only week 4, but shit, Jayden Daniels, Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury. Shout out to Cliff fucking Kingsbury. He got them boys raring to go on offense. And you keep hearing this, oh, it's a college-style offense. Oh, it's going to get figured out. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He's done both. He's played college. He's played NFL. He's coached both. Coach for the Cardinals, coach for USC, coach Texas Tech. Patrick Mahomes was his original project, man. He's the original finder. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a better man to coach Jayden Daniels right now, and he's truly set him up for success. Let's see if it will be prolonged. I hope to see it. It would be fun to watch, man. So Commanders, that's what we're smoking on, man. Jesus Christ, what a game. What an absolute domination. I think the Commanders, I can't remember who they play next, but anyways, let's get into who's lit. Who's lit from this week? Mostly going to be winners. There'll be some, I got a couple honorable mentions here. Let's mention them real quick. Honorable mentions, Justin Fields. That man was moving the ball up and down the field, doing anything and everything that he could to let his team win. And his teammates just like literally fucked him. The fumbles, or the bad snaps, the fumbles, the turnovers, just a sloppy play. I mean, it was just bad. And then the Raiders, gotta mention. Oh, sorry, but let's rewind. Justin Fields played phenomenal, did anything and everything he could to get the team to try to will them to win. Luckily, my Colts found a way to solidify it. We'll get into a little bit more with who's lit with the Colts. And then Raiders, we're going to say they were down 10-0 to Browns. They came back, found a way to win. Huge win for them, 120-10. Raiders might be a little better than what people are saying. I know, you lose to the Panthers, and people are kind of like, Panthers were kind of contending with the Bengals this week. So let's hold our horses on the Raiders slander, and maybe, just maybe, the Raiders might be a decent team. But who's lit? Who is lit legit? First of all, we gotta talk about the Vikings. I wrote here, Vikings won 31-29 against the Green Bay Packers at Green Bay. Early on in that game, they were up 28-0. Pretty consecutively, they were just, the whole first half, he was just Sam Darnold up and down, up and down, up and down. Packers started to figure out, Jordan Love was a little slow at the gate. He took a little bit to get going, It was a little bit of a slow start. He's been hurt. He hasn't played in, 2 weeks? It's going to take a little bit. And it didn't look pretty at first. That Vikings defense was dominating. They overall had 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery. Like, they were playing fucking very well. But Jordan Love came back. We will say this. Let's talk about it real quick. Jordan Love had a fucking game and a half, 32 of 54, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Not great on the interceptions, not good on the completion percentage, but he willed them boys back into that game. They almost had a chance to win that game. They were this close, but there's this man on the other side of the field named Sam fucking Darnold. Sam Darnold's legit, man. He flamed out a little bit in the second half, which is kind of understandable. If you're up 28-0, sometimes, you take your foot off the gas pedal a little bit. It's not just him. It's also the way they coach. It's also the way they're going to play defense. Of course, you're going to play a little bit of shell, keep everything in front of you, try not to let the big plays happen. But Jesus Christ, that man came out swinging. He had this pass to Jefferson to go up 20. It was either 21-0 or 28-0. Where Justin Jefferson is literally streaking up the sideline. He is covered on the hip by a fucking defender. The defender is literally right next to the fool. And he's running, and Sam Darnold just throws it, and it lands right in his fucking hands. The dude barely puts out his hands. It was one of the most beautiful passes I have seen in football, just as from a pure passing perspective, with nothing phenomenal added to it. He put that ball exactly where it needed to go. There was no room for error on Jay Jetta's side. There was no room in error for Sam Darnold. It literally went right into his hand, streaking on the sideline. He is on that motherfucker. Jesus Christ, dude. Sam Darnold might be comeback player of the year, MVP, fucking starter of the year. He might win everything. Holy shit, him and Kevin O'Connell's offense is just looking like absolute domination. And they get to go into the Jets, play in London, and fuck. That Jets defense looked horrible last week. Horrible. It was raining. I guess they didn't look horrible. They kept that. Let me rewind. The Jets team overall looked horrible. Jets defense played pretty good. Held Bo Nix to fucking 10 points, but they still won 10-9, obviously. Bo Nix only had 60 passing yards. I think he threw 12 for 50. We'll get into who's greened out. That's part of it for sure. But get to go in and play a weakened Jets team that looks stifled. Aaron Rodgers looked like he couldn't get a single thing going. Yeah, I was wet. Yeah, I was raining. But dude, you're fucking Aaron Rodgers. You got to have a little bit more to you than that. Might set the Vikings up to success. Jordan Addison came back and had an absolutely dominating performance. He scored a touchdown. What's his face? Running back. Who's the running back? Can't think of his name. Blanking on it. Aaron Jones. Had a pretty solid performance against his former team. Didn't crack 100 yards, but got a touchdown. I think he ran for 88. It's not bad. I mean, shit, you get 88 on any team. That's pretty decent, That 100-yard mark is like, shown as like the cracking point, but like 88's pretty fucking good. You average over 4 yards a carry, which I don't think he did. He was like 25 carries, so he's a little bit over that, four echelon, 4 yards per carry, but still, man, great performance going into playing a very tough Jets defense in London on a short week, kind of. No, I guess you can. Well, it should be because you're flying. So we'll consider it a short week because you're flying to fucking London, changing time zones. Gonna have to play in a completely different time zone. Man, I'm excited to see that one. I will probably wake up early to see what happens because it could be a fantastic game where the Vikings could just blow them out like they've done to a lot of different teams. Vikings are legit, dude. Vikings are legit. They continue to play the way they've been playing here. Like, there's no stopping them. Literally, they just needed a quarterback to get those weapons the ball. And Hawkinson hasn't even played yet. Fuck, dude. Fuck. Gotta shout out Jordan Love. We talked about his stats. He had those boys ready to play at the second half. They almost came back. They had a chance, but you lost it. So, can't give you that much hope. Next, Colts versus Steelers. Early first drive. Colts come out, drive the ball down the field. Anthony Richardson looks like he is that guy. Puts that ball in the end zone. First fucking play. Anthony Richardson throws a 42-yard rope to Michael Pittman. For just fucking, and then the very next play, Jonathan Taylor comes out and runs for another like 17 yards. We're in the fucking red zone within 2 plays on one of the best defense going into the week. They were the number 1 overall defense in the NFL. Colts were dominating. Second drive, get the ball. Or they call us the fucking Steelers, go 3 and out, get the ball back, and then we start driving down the field, and Anthony Richardson got hurt. Shocker. Fuck me, dude. That dude needs reps. That's the issue. Went out, he took a shot to the hip from Minka. No maliciousness from Minka. It was just kind of like the way that the play came out. He turned his back to him, kind of the way he got tackled too, and then just popped him right in the hip. Went out for a few plays. Flacco came in. Flacco finished the drive, touchdown to Josh Downs. So we're like, okay, cool. We're up 14-0. We get back out. I think even on that drive, Anthony Richardson came back in, ran another play, took a hit to the head. Not like, he was sliding, but he slid late. And then everyone's like, oh, fuck, another concussion. No, he got pulled for the hip again. Sucks. It really sucks. But jogged off the field, stayed in pads the rest of the game, kept telling Shane he wanted to get back in the game. I think it's pretty likely that he will play next week. Joe motherfucking Flacco, dude. Dude comes out. and just starts performing. The amount of third and long conversions I saw from that dude, I think three and longs, like literally drove down the field next drive, or that drive, and just was that dude was balling. He was making plays to keep the Colts in contention. Even when the Steelers started storming back, we needed another touchdown to drive down and kind of put us in front of them. Really assert our dominance. The man did it. He found a way to get that ball down the field, scored a touchdown, closing out to Drew Ogletree. It was a fucking thing of beauty. Man, he found a way. Colts defense started selling in that second half. It was a little scary. Steelers started storming back, but that Steelers team is good. They are riddled by injuries. We were riddled by injuries. You saw a bunch. It was a physical fucking matchup, dude. Both them boys were fucking hitting. Colts. I think the Colts surprised the Steelers a little bit because we were smacking some fools. EJ Speed, Zaire Franklin, they were not fucking happy. They were flying around. But Colts found a way to win. Defense looked pretty solid. Didn't find a way to turn Justin Fields over too much. A lot of the Steelers' mistakes is what held them up. So we won't spend too much time sitting here talking about the Colts. Let's move on to the Texans versus the Jaguars. What a performance by CJ Stroud. That dude, no matter what circumstance, playing good or bad, come to the end of the game, if they're close enough to have a chance to fucking put themselves into contention, he's going to find a way to fucking make a play. 20 for 40, or 27 for 40, so not the greatest passing completion, but for 345, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Missed some throws, had some drops, but shit. That's pretty fucking impressive. CJ Stroud. That boy's lit. Let's talk about real quick Stephon Diggs. First rushing touchdown of his career. Very cool to see. Drop back. They ran a little trick play, gave him the chance to throw the ball. He said, nah, I ain't gonna take this, and just see ya. Scored a touchdown. It was cool. It was cool to see. Texans were down for a lot of this game as well. The Jags were up. We're playing decent. They were up like 17-13 most of the game, and then Texans go up, try to have a chance to score, find a way to get in the end zone. Jags get the ball back and just couldn't do anything. Trevor Lawrence, like literally when it comes down the fourth quarter, can't do shit. Like fuck, man. It was just bad. Nico Collins, dude. Texans, Nico Collins. Dude went for 20 receptions, 151 yards, and a touchdown. They're just stacked at receiver. And they got Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz. Damn. Texans are just stacked. Honestly, they should be blowing out a lot more teams. That chemistry will likely come a little bit more. I'm sure it's tough to incorporate Stephon into the whole offense, having these 2 other studs back there for you, but they'll probably figure it out and put it together here soon. But Texans, wow, dominant performance against the Jags. Find a way to fucking win it. Fuck the Jags. Jags are 0-4. Who'd have thought that? Real quick, next one, talk about Falcons. Falcons won 26-24 against the Saints. It was a knockout dragon brawl. There wasn't a ton of explosive plays, but it was a fun game. Just wanted to shout out real quick the Falcons defense. Huge pick 6. It's kind of what helped win them the game overall. It was too close on offense. They don't make that play, they likely don't win the game. We talked Commanders at Cardinals. We won't go into that again. Bucks versus Eagles. Buccaneers, dude. Baker Mayfield is that guy. Baker Mayfield got put into a situation where he's able to flourish. He's got a full name Mike Evans who's willing to dominate any fucking defensive back, man. One-on-one, double coverage. Let's fucking carry our zones towards him. Don't matter. He gonna find a way to get open. He gonna find a way to make play. He's too big, too tall, too physical to not put the work on some defensive backs. Mike Evans, impressive. Baker Mayfield was a slinging it. 30 for 47. I think he went for 347. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Baker. Fuck yeah, dog. And then Mike Evans, the guy here, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. It's just impressive. Buccaneers, great performance. Dominated the Eagles. We'll talk about the Eagles a little bit later. Ravens versus Bills. Last one to speak about right here. Ravens beat the Bills 35-10. I think the Ravens were 2.5 or 3 point dogs to the Bills. The Bills are supposed to fucking come out and win this game, and they just got obliterated. And it was clear and obvious Josh Allen doesn't have the weapons. But let's talk about the Ravens. Let's talk about the first offensive drive, maybe the first or second play. Hand off to Derrick Henry, the fucking what is it? Parting of the Red Sea. Fucking Derrick Henry takes off for an 87-yard tud. Gosh damn, that was impressive. Just fucking hauling down the field, dude. Hauling down the field. It was just fucking impressive. I have 24 yards or 24 carries, 199 yards, almost broke that 200-yard carry, 2 touchdowns. I think he also had a receiving touchdown. Ravens were just, the Bills couldn't do anything. Ravens were just up and down the field for him. Lamar was fucking 13 of 18, 156, a touchdown, no interception. I think he ran for also 54 yards. Damn. What can he do? Ravens look like they're back. They're figuring it out. They're putting it together. It's quite great to see the Ravens figure it out. I don't want to, in that division, you don't necessarily want every team to be good, but as a fan of the NFL, that's all you could hope for. That's who we got. Who's lit, man? That was a little bit longer than we'd like to do, but it's all right. It's all right. Let's run through who greened out. Who greened out this week? Cowboys with a win greened out. That was the most pitiful performance I think I've seen with the Cowboys from a win in who knows how long. Injuries up and down the board. They can't blame that on themselves. Like, obviously, it's not their fault. Like, that's not a greenhouse segment, like, perspective, but it did hurt them, and it's going to hurt them going forward, even if the players all play. I mean, what's his face? DeMarcus Lawrence got hurt. Michael Parsons got hurt. Trayvon Diggs at one point got hurt. Like, it was just fucking. The Giants had so many opportunities to win that game too. Literally, were driving up and down the field on the fucking Giants. Just had some very unfortunate penalties called against them, especially that face mask that fucking got called against them when it was very clear and obvious the Cowboys were the team that fucking caused the face mask. But if they would have put one of those red zone drives into the end zone, they likely would have won this game. Like, the Giants actually looked very impressive. Daniel Jones, I hate to say it, didn't look horrible. Looked like he could be a potential, like, backup or fringe like starter in the league if he plays like that. You get him another weapon or two. Jesus Christ, can't believe I'm saying that. But Cowboys, dude, what the fuck? That was just bad. That was just bad. That was just bad. Jaguars. You are 0-4. Your coach is on the hot seat. You just paid Trevor Lawrence $55 million over the next 4 years, and you come out winning the game on all fronts for the first 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter just shit the bed. In our division, I don't want to see you guys do good. We're coming to play you guys next week in Duval, which we haven't won since 2014. But god damn. 0-4. Something drastically has to change. I think they're missing their weapons. I think Trevor Lawrence got paid and just kind of said, "All right, cool." Peace. That's what it looks like. I mean, I don't know what else. It's just like, ugh. This is my opinion. Move on. Steelers overall, like, everyone except Justin Fields. Justin Fields was your whole team. The rest of your team, Pickens, played way too sloppy. Way too sloppy. Had so many big play potentials, made a bunch of really huge catches that like helped them drive down the field and progress their drives further. But then like just like the fumbles or like half the time it just seems like he didn't give a shit. He gave up on some routes, like didn't catch balls that were in his hands. It was just like, dude, like sloppy play. Steelers defense in the first half was like, Jesus, Colts are marching up and down on them. Colts, I think, are surprisingly have a better offense than what people give them credit for. Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. But if you're supposed to be that vaunted like number one defense in the league, don't you think you'd put up a better performance than what you showed in the first half? Obviously, like you hear it time and time again. I heard it a bunch from Steelers fans this week. They kind of expected something like this to happen. Steelers typically like to lay an egg when they're supposed to be, close road favorites. It's just kind of how the Steelers play, and it's like tried and true. You know what I mean? Lost 24-27, the first loss of the year. Like, ugh. Ugh. Next green out is literally the Broncos versus Jets game. Everyone was smoking on that fucking game. There was no points. 10-9, 3 field goals by the fucking Jets, a fucking touchdown and field goal by the Broncos. Bo Nix had one good drive that gave him a touchdown. One, and he made 2 plays on that drive. And that's it. That's literally, he played like shit otherwise. Just literally could not get shit going. 12 of fucking 51, 60 yards. And a touchdown. Oh, but then Aaron Rodgers, had some yardage, no touchdowns. Couldn't fucking find the end zone. Sloppy game, bad performance from both sides. It was just an ugly fucking game. It was fun to watch kind of that last little ending when the Broncos found a way to fucking do it. The one bright side I will say is that Broncos defense is a hell of a lot better than what it was last year. They were talked about as the laughing stock, and they made some massive improvements this year. So shout out the Broncos defense. Eagles. Damn. I mean, I get it. You don't have your 2 best receivers, but still, you could at least try a little bit better to the team that knocked you out of the fucking playoffs last year. Ugh. It's just bad coaching, honestly. Didn't look like you boys were ready to play. There was a couple moments where you guys started to shine out. Saquon looked great, but what the fuck? Fire Sirianni. Fire Nick Sirianni. That was bad. Bills, overall, just a pitiful performance. Just so bad. Couldn't get anything going. Looked like the team they were supposed to be with no weapons. It looks like if they're going to play these really good teams, I thought the Cardinals would have. We're talking about them next. I thought they would have been one of the good teams. And I thought their performance against the Bills was oh shit, both these teams are really good. But I think it's kind of the Cardinals are not great at all, and the Bills are just good. Josh Allen makes them good, and we've been talking about him being kind of the MVP. Oh, that was bad. Just a bad loss to the Ravens. Could not get anything going. Cardinals is the other team we don't talk about. Fuck, dude. 14 points against the Commanders. You're playing against a rookie quarterback who's supposed to, that number 2, they're supposed to struggle. And that dude was just dominating, That team was dominating, They went up and down the field on you. Scored 42 points on you. Yikes. Kyler and Marvin found a connection. Marvin didn't have a bad game, but yikes. And then I got the permanent greenouts here. These are the teams that I think are just, they smoked way too much before the season, and they just ain't coming out of it. The season passing the Browns, man. Pats looked bad, got dominated by the fucking Niners, and the Browns looked even worse, taking a loss to the fucking Raiders. You're up 10-0. I think at home too. Fuck. Ugh. Let's move on. We're over the greens out. That was just pitiful performances. There was a bunch of bad performances this past week. Last thing we're gonna get into is fan bases that need a session chill, man. Even the Cowboys, you always talk so hyped about your team, and every year, I think I've seen it a little bit more this year, where the Cowboys fans were yeah, we're not gonna find a way to win, because that's kind of been their MO for the past 10 years. They'll do decent and then not win, but y'all don't even look like you can play decent in the regular season. You've beaten the Browns and you barely beat the Giants. You shouldn't have beaten the Giants. Oh, that was bad. And the fans, if you guys are saying the Cowboys are still, a top 10 team in the league, this season might be lost. They are probably regretting re-signing Dak. They're probably regretting. They're not regretting signing CD. CD is their whole team, but Cowboy fans, I'm almost sorry for y'all. Nah, because y'all are ridiculous. But I can't even tell. I can't. There's not much more to say about it. I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't really got much more to say on this week. It was a great week. Stay tuned for hopefully predictions coming out here. Probably put them out. I'm gonna record them on Friday. Put them out Friday, Saturday. We'll see how we're feeling. If you guys like this content, please consider liking, subscribing, hit that notification bell. Let me know what you think about what we're talking about. If there's a team you want us to focus a little bit more on week to week, let us know. Patient, go smoke some fucking weed.